All right, Unit 9 lecture 1B. I've got some pictures up there. In the lower corner, we have Benito Mussolini and Adolf Hitler. Up top, you have Joseph Stalin. FDR's in the middle, Winston Churchill there on the left. And over in this bottom corner, I have a graphic with some of the reasons or the causes of World War II. Okay, a great deal of it's going to be Nazi and fascist aggression. Okay, and the failure of the policy of appeasement. Okay, so we had Hitler's invasion of Poland. That's kind of like the spark, all right? That gets it rolling, all right? Everybody's in now, all right? He'd split Poland with the Soviets. Again, they came in from the east. In 1940, all right, Hitler's going to turn west and invade France and the Netherlands, all right, pushing the Allies way, way back. All right, and he's going to pile right over them with his blitzkrieg tactics, and he's going to trap the Allies at Dunkirk, a beach on the coast of France there. And we call this the Miracle of Dunkirk. You should be aware of it. The British are going to be able to evacuate a great many of the soldiers that are trapped there, okay? Private citizens are going to come over in their boats, fishermen, the British Navy, and they're going to pick up the Allied army and let it escape to England, all right, and it's the weather and certain other factors had delayed Hitler's attack on the beach there. So while they lost all of their equipment, they lost the tanks, the guns, the artillery, they saved the lives, and that's really, really important, right? Because soldiers are much harder to replace than a tank. Okay, so for the most part, by 1940, the end of 1940, Hitler's in control of Europe. All right, he's got everyone beat back. He's got France done. The U.S. is neutral, and he's pounding Great Britain from the air. This is called the Blitz, or the Battle of Britain. And Winston Churchill has a very famous quote here: "Never have so many owed so much to so few." All right, and he doesn't have the landing craft or anything to enough landing craft or enough amphibious devices to invade Europe, invade Britain, so he's going to pound it and pound it and pound it with bombs from the air. All right, and ask me in class how the British are able to resist the Nazis' onslaught for so long. Eventually, I guess Hitler's going to get bored of this, and he's going to, in mid-1941, break his non-aggression pact with the Soviets, and he's going to invade his former partner, Stalin there. And this was called Operation Barbarossa. So in 1941, Hitler turns and invades the Soviet Union. As this is all going on, the first 2 years of the war, we are trying to remain neutral. We're slowly, gradually abandoning our neutrality as events in Europe and Asia pull us closer and closer to war. And the American government's going to increasingly help Great Britain. All right, we're going to first give them war supplies and old naval ships in return for military bases in Bermuda and the Caribbean Sea. Soon after, in 1941, Congress will pass the Lend-Lease Act. And I want you to know the Lend-Lease Act. It allows the president to sell, lease, or lend massive amounts of defense equipment to nations whose defense the president seemed or deemed considered vital to American security. It was the beginning of what... it's beginning to seem that our involvement in World War II is foregone. All right, we're going to get in. All right, it's a sure thing. So we begin to mobilize. We start bond drives, okay, and we pass some tax increases in preparation for the war, along with massive arms buildups. All right, with a warning to Germany to stay out of the Western Hemisphere. Okay. So, in other words, the Lend-Lease Act gives the president the authority to sell or lend equipment to countries to defend themselves against the Axis powers. And it's a step in the right direction, but Franklin Delano Roosevelt will compare the Lend-Lease Act to, and I want you to know this quote, lending a garden hose to a next-door neighbor whose house is on fire. Okay? So, while this is going on in Europe, in the 1930s, in militaristic Japan, had invaded and brutalized Manchuria and China as it sought military and economic domination over Asia. And I'm going to pick up with that in Lecture C.